Good morning, welcome to the channel. We're back with another episode at the cottage. It has been a while since I've been up here. If you'll remember the last episode in this series, we tiled the shower. Since then we've cleaned it up, I've washed it down, and we are ready to go ahead and grout. So while I'll be going ahead and carrying on grouting this to finish it up, as well as the floor, you'll remember that there's a 2" by 2" mosaic hexagon tile here with our linear drain and our low clearance curb. We'll be doing a glass door here as well. All I have to say, we'll be going ahead and doing the grouting for all of this, and alongside of that we'll be installing the Schluter corner shelf E. There's a couple different variations of this. This is designed for a new build or retrofit depending. It's just a low labor intensive way of adding some shelves to your shower space rather than making a niche in the wall, which adds up time. Although this is expensive, it does save time in the long run. So ideally, let's crack this open. We do have the two of them, and there's 12" tiles, so we'll probably just do one there and one there basically. You can tell that they're a pretty simple design. They have fins here. They're supposed to be installed like this into the grout line. So for example, we'll probably end up putting one here, and then we'll end up putting one here. I'll grout this joint up until this fin starts, and I'll mark the tile with a pencil or something so I know where to stop. That will allow me to, after the grout is hardened, silicone this joint, push this into place, and then go back around and silicone this top corner as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark those fins so I know where to grout up to. Okay. Now I'll just remove them so I don't get them covered with grout. Okay, so now that we know where our shelves are going into the corner here, and we've prepped everything, cleaned out the grout lines, washed everything down, we can go ahead and begin the grouting process. I'll be using the Mapai Ultra Color Plus FA, which is a rapid setting grout. I'll be putting on a time lapse just to speed up the process a little bit. It's a little repetitive once you get going, but we'll jump back in when it's time to begin that corner shelf and install those actually. I'm not sure if you caught that or not in the time lapse, but I made the mistake of not protecting my floor before I did the walls, so inevitably I dropped grout onto the floor and was forced to do it a little sooner than I would have liked because I haven't finished that back wall. I did those two walls and then I had to jump down and do the floor before it dried because the stuff dries so fast. So a little unfortunate, but I don't think it's going to come back to haunt me because I caught it soon enough. So that's where we're at. We still have to do that one more wall. I might be able to reach from here. This stuff does dry within 3 hours, so I can just wait 3 hours and carry on with that wall. It's not a big deal, but almost got too far ahead of myself, in which case it would have been very difficult to clean up this grout once it dries fully. So now I just go back over it with a damp sponge, clean off the excess. You saw that I did it once, and I'll do it once more here now that the joints are a lot more firm and dry. Now that that's done, I'll go back over the walls with my microfiber cloth, clean up the haze, and by the time that's done, I can do the floor, and then figure out this last wall. Alright, it is the next day. I've done all the grout. It's all dry, so we can go ahead and install the Schluter Shelf E, which just goes into the corner as a floating shelf. And all we need in order to do that is silicone, according to the instructions. So I've gone ahead and got some clear silicone left this grout line open in the corner. I'll give you a closer view here. So the idea is to fill this grout line with silicone and just push this in place. So I'll just put these in to make sure I like them. Remove my tape that I just used as markers to know where to grout up to. I do want to make sure it's out of that grout line just so it doesn't interfere with the silicone adhesion at all. Grab my silicone here, and as per instructions, fill that grout line up with the silicone. Grab my shelves and make sure the flush side here is down, so there's a bit of a step there. And just slide them into place. Ideally you get a little bit of squeeze out. That one goes there. This one goes here. So the last step I'm going to do, I'm going to silicone the top and the underside of them. And then once that's dry, I'll silicone the whole bathroom, just so I don't interfere with clear silicone and what I'll be using for the inside corners, which is a color match to the grout. Okay, so that's how those are installed. Ideally, you don't tool your silicone. If you can help it, you can use the tools as well, but the best application is to actually freehand it and not touch it. So I was able to do that there. I'll go ahead, wait for those to dry, and then I'll install the door in the meantime. Once the door is installed, I'll silicone everything and apply the fixtures. Next step is the door. I'll give you a time lapse so you can see the process of that too. Okay, I got the door done. Turned out well. I've already gone ahead and begun siliconing everything. As you can see, I just have the ceiling left and a little strip here. And the reason I've taped the ceiling is because the gap is a little bit larger here, and it just makes for a straighter line. It doesn't have to be as waterproof as the rest of the corners, just to make it look a little better. Okay, the shower is done. I just finished the silicone, installed the door as well as the handle, did a little bit of trim work down here where this transition is happening, installed a piece of trim underneath the sill to add some support, as well as the linear drain as well. And then moving in real quick, you can see that we have the Schluter corner shelves I did in this episode. And you can see that we have the soft closing shower door. And then of course I just finished up the silicone in the corners. And then down here you can see we have the linear drain and the low clearance curb. So I think it turned out really well. We just got to install the tap in the shower head and we should be good to go. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one. One last time.